What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks. The Retro Cup is coming today, which is going to be played in the Great League, and essentially no Darks, Fairies, or Steel types are going to be allowed in this cup format. And I'm pretty excited to see how this meta is going to shake out. And so what we're going to do today is just have a nice quick video looking over some of the top picks for the Retro Cup to just give you a head start on what is to come in this cup. Now just looking at this, I really feel like this is just going to be the meta of safe swaps. There's a lot of flexible options that you will see in these rankings tab, and especially with no darks or steals, a lot of specific types of Pokemon are really going to have a lot of play. Specifically the psychic types, there's really going to be no absolute hard punish to psychic types in this cup. You will have a lot of the lick users and some ghost types, but those ghost types do not resist psychic type damage, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But we are over here on PvPoke on the rankings tab for Retro Cup, looking at some of these rankings. XL Lickitung is obviously going to be the best Pokemon in this cup. Absolutely. If you don't have an XL Lickitung built, you can try out some of the other Lick users. Like Licky is ranked here at number 2, but you do need the legacy move of Body Slam. Munchlax is interesting. It is like the next bulkiest, but Bulldoze is a pretty terrible move for coverage, not gonna lie. So I would probably go with Snorlax if you don't have a Lickitung or Licky built. That superpower coverage on Snorlax is really nice. And Lickitung, as we know, is always a very nice safe swap because some of the best responses to Lickitung being those counter users, you're able to hit back for neutral, if not super effective damage. If Defense Deoxys or Medicham comes out, that's actually an extremely close matchup for Lickitung because you're able to hit for super effective. And if any of the other fighters come out, like Toxicroak, Sturtfetch'd, or Machamp, you're able to chip away with Body Slam and at minimum leave that matchup with a shield advantage. So Lickitung is an absolute monster. It's going to be everywhere. You need to think of some ways that you're going to be able to counter that. Maybe bring a fighting type of your own, or maybe bring a Vigoroth. Vigoroth is definitely one of the best shutdowns to a Lickitung, especially if a lot of people are going to be using that as a safe swap. Frostlass, another extremely flexible Pokemon. If you've ever done Sylph before, you know how flexible and powerful Frostlass is. Having Avalanche and Shadow Ball gives you extremely nice coverage, essentially going to be able to hit neutral, if not super effective, on pretty much everything in the meta. And you can see one of the hardest counters to Frostlass is Alolan Marowak, but even in that matchup, if you're using Frostlass as a safe swap, Shadow Ball is really going to smack that Alolan Marowak around. I really anticipate Frostlass being on a lot of people's teams because Frostlass is going to be able to keep Altaria in check, which is going to be another top pick. It's going to keep a lot of the fighting types in check because of that ghost type resistance. You're going to be resisting the fighting type moves, and you can see it's a very solid response to Altaria, Deoxys, Hypno. Now this Hypno matchup is a little bit sketchy, especially if the Hypno is running Fire Punch, because the confusion damage really adds up over time. Like if we click on this Hypno matchup here, yes, you will beat Hypno in the 1 and 2 shield. This is assuming that the Hypno is running Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball. But the confusions are really going to add up over time, especially if Hypno has a slight energy advantage. You can see actually if Hypno has Fire Punches, Frostlass is able to win in all even energy scenarios, but you can see it's very close in the 0 and very close in the 2 shield there. So just be aware of that. If the Hypno does have some extra energy, or if your Frostlass is not full health, not going to be able to cleanly shut that down there. Cresselia, another really nice pick, and honestly a fairly decent safe swap in this meta as well, running Psycho Cut, Grass Knot, and Moonblast. There's even a case to be made that you could run Future Sight instead of Moonblast, especially if you're using this on the swap, because that turns the Alolan Marowak matchup and any other fire type matchup decently in Cresselia's favor, honestly, because the future sight just hits for such strong neutral damage, and Cress is so tanky. Obviously, the Moonblast is nice for that Altaria coverage, but I think Grass Knot is a necessity for all of these water ice types that we're going to be seeing as well. Regirock is a great shutdown to Frostlass, but keep in mind you're still going to be receiving neutral damage from those ice and ghost type attacks. You will resist the body slam damage from a lot of those lick users, and you have Focus Blast to hit for super effective as well. It shuts down Altaria. You have play against the Bomb Snow as well, but you do need to look out for that Energy Ball, and good play against the Marowak. But unlike Registeel, Regirock does not have a lot of those nice steel type resistances, but you still have a lot of bulk. You're able to get to Stone Edge very, very quickly. Hypno, as we can see, it looks like the recommended moveset is Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball for all those ghost types and psychic types makes sense. It turns Hypno into a psychic type that can hang with a lot of the other psychic types, and that's going to be pretty important here. And then Thunder Punch for some of these water ice types that we're going to be seeing. Abomasnow at number 6, going to be very strong here. There's no steel types to shut down Abomasnow, and there's not a lot of fire types that are really super common in this meta. So I've already seen a lot of people talk about this, but I think like a double ice strat might be very, very interesting, maybe even triple ice, because some of the biggest counters to ice types being like fighters, obviously, if you supplement that by having Frostlass as one of your ice types, it's going to give you some fighting type coverage. But not having steel types in the meta really allows Abomasnow to shine, and there's not a lot of fire types that are going to be super, super common. XL Chansey, my gosh, if you have an XL Chansey, feel free to run it, but I do not have one built, and I won't have one built for a long time because it's just disgustingly long matches played out with the Chansey there. Defense Deoxys, always a very strong pick. Very flexible psychic type. Out of all the psychic types, Defense Deoxys is probably going to be the worst against opposing psychics, but the coverage of Psycho Boost and Rock Slide is very, very handy, and having access to counter as a fast move, really nice. Here we have Altaria. When there's no fairies and no steel types, Altaria is really going to shine here. This is going to allow a lot of the ice types to be very strong, as we've already seen, Abomasnow and Frostlass. So Altaria does have that double weakness to ice and does need to look out for that, but if you supplement Altaria in the lead with two very strong ice type counters, maybe a fire type in the back, definitely could be a nice combination there. Snowy Castform, man, Snowy Castform really needs a better coverage move at some point in time. Drifblim gonna have a lot of play because you have good amount of play against Altaria. Even though you lose this in the one shield, technically it's very close, and I believe you do win in the 0 and the 2s, and you're gonna have play against all of those psychic types. Dugong, if you have a double legacy Dugong, again, gonna be an ice type that you can win the majority of 2-shield matchups just because of that icy wind debuff. We have Medicham down here, XL Medicham. There's gonna be a lot of opposing psychics floating around, so that's why Medicham is not as highly rated on this list here, because it does kind of get shut down by Cress and Hypno there, but something to consider. There's our Licky Jellicent. Okay, another ghost type, and going to have a good amount of play against Altaria. If you're running double nukes Jellicent here, no bubble beam, so running Hex, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, gonna have play against Defense Deoxys, Medicham, Alolan Marowak. Yeah, that's looking really, really nice, looking really strong there. Whiscash up here as well. There's so many water types. So many water types up here, because a lot of these water types are also pseudo ice types as well, and the issue with that is because a lot of the grass types are threatened by all of the ice type damage. So it's very interesting to see all of these water ice types so high up there, and no grass types really keeping this in check. I mean, we have a Tropius down here, but again, you're going to be double weak to ice. So pretty interesting. Not a lot of grass popping up in this meta. So a lot of these water ice types are really going to be shining through. XL Pachirisu, cool pick. Shadow Dragonite, if you don't want to run Altaria, you could also run a Dragonite or a non-Shadow Dragonite as well. Lapras, again, another water ice type, going to have a lot of play in this cup. Yeah, I encourage you all to check out PvP Post Rankings and just get an idea of what you're going to be seeing out there. I think Sunny Castform might have a good amount of play because it's one of the few things that can absolutely shut down a Frostlass safe swap. So you just need to be aware of that. How are you going to handle some of these lick users on the safe swap? How are you going to handle a Frostlass safe swap? So, and I know there's several other content creators that have also posted some videos on this as well with some possible team comp ideas, so I encourage you to check them out. But really quick video for me today, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I'll see you all in the next video.